Hey everyone, welcome to PHENOMSOUND. I have a fresh sound for all the jump up drum and bass lovers, and here's the demo that I've prepared for you guys today.
Keep the fire blazing!
All of the presets and samples from this project and the project itself are available on my Patreon page, just as all of my content from my previous tutorials. So I would love to see you on my Patreon page. You can find lots of music production content there that's gonna help you to make professional music. Also, I would really appreciate if you find a couple of minutes to check my preset packs. I have two big Serum preset packs, 60 plus presets each, and all of the previews can be found using the links below. There is a sale on one of the preset packs, so make sure to check it out. I bet you will find your perfect presets in there. And here's the sound that we are going to be looking at today. Classic jump up or old school drum and bass sound based on sine waves and a bit of FMing. So let's start with the analog BD sine wavetable on the first oscillator and set the octave to -2. Let's set up the first LFO and make it look like this. Enable the triggering and set the rate to 1/8 and drag it to the level of the first oscillator. And also drag it to the wavetable position. Enable the second oscillator and it's going to be the sub bass 1 from the digital section. Set the octave to +1. Move the level down and automate the wavetable position of it. Set it at around 90. And let's use the sync on the second oscillator. Drag the first LFO to it and set it at around 40. And we are going to FM from B on this one. Set the FM knob at 25. And the automation at 20. So this is the foundation of the sound. Let's enable the sub, use the rounded rectangle shape and set the octave to -2. Move the level down and automate it using the first LFO as well. Set it at 60. Now let's filter all this up. Enable the sub-bass filtering. We are not gonna filter the B oscillator since the output is set to 0. And let's use the low pass 12 filter with the cutoff set all the way down and automate it, setting it at 67. Set the resonance at around 35. And the drive at around 60. Perfect. Let's switch to the effects tab and use the distortion, the tube one, with the drive set at 58 or 60. Let's enable all of these three effects. Set a phaser at 50%, as well as the flanger. And set a depth on the chorus at around 3 milliseconds. Set the mix at 30 or 35. They add some tiny space to the sound and make it a little bit smoother. Removing a bit of sharpness. Particularly the chorus is taking care of this. If we play with the mix, we will hear the difference more dramatically. It's adding some space, but it's also making the sound less sharp. Nice, let's move on and enable the delay. Let's unlink it from BPM and set the left and right delay time from 20 to 30. Set the feedback at 70. Enable the ping pong mode and set the frequency at 1200 and the Q at 0.8. And set the mix at 6%. Awesome, let's use the multiband compressor, set again at 13 dB. Reduce the high frequency compression a bit, set it at 60. Now we have this nasty delay compressed. We could either move it down after the compressor, but let's keep it this way and enable the reverb. Set the mix at 12. Nice, it's now adding more space and it's more consistent. Perfect. Another final touch. You don't have to do this, but I like to add some pitch movement to my sounds. So I'm using the second LFO for this purpose, setting the rate to 2 bar, using the master tuning over here, making it unipolar, selecting the LFO number 2 as the source and setting the amount at 1. Also, I'm disabling the retriggering on this sound, so every time I release the note, the automation keeps playing from the last active position. So I can make this kind of melodies with really chopped notes and still will get this pitch sliding, which is awesome. So here's our final result. Without this pitch automation, it sounds like this. Nothing too dramatic. So the post-processing is really basic. I'm only using the OTT compressor, which is a free plugin, and some tiny EQing. Here's the sound clean. This is my compression setup. The downwards compression is set at 54%. The high frequency compression is reduced a bit, as well as the lows. And I'm removing the MIDI frequencies, which is in this case 200 Hz and some 850. You see how dramatically the accent shifts to the low frequencies, to the sub bass when we have this gap. This is just a great trick to separate the sub bass from the high frequency and mid frequency information of the sound that you are working with. So removing this interval from 150 to probably 200 Hz always makes the sub sound really fat. I have no idea if it's just some psychoacoustic thing, but this works for me all the time and I like removing this kind of frequencies in the most of my basses. And on my master channel I have one single plugin, which is Boost. It's just an amazing limiter that makes things sound super loud and super clean without any distortions, keeping the sub bass really smooth and silky. Here's the difference.
Keep the fire blazing!
So super useful plugin for mastering that is now totally in my top 5 plugin that I'm using all the time. And I'm picking up the transient emphasis and boosting up the volume, obviously.
Keep the fire blazing!
By the way, you can play around with this sound. This is the most basic stuff that you can do with this preset if you are not into sound designing in Serum this much. So I like setting the semitone at 7. So this is the original one. This is the 7th note. Also you can play with the octave of this second oscillator that we are FMing from. So this is a nice way of adding variety to your drop. Just copy-paste this preset and add some changes to its pitch or to its harmonic properties. Hope you really enjoyed this tutorial. Hit like, leave a comment and subscribe to PHENOMSOUND to stay tuned for more interesting tutorials. Make sure to follow my Instagram page and to check my Patreon. And thank you so much for watching this video, and we will see you in my next one. Bye!